Thank you so much, Yogesh. Thank you. Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure being here with you all.
Hello. Hello, everybody. So good to have all of you here. And welcome once again to our session, WordPress Contributions, Building a Transparent System for a Stronger Community. Before we start, I want to ask everybody here a very small question. How many people here have contributed to WordPress? Can I have a show of hands, please? Wow, that is like 80% of you. Amazing. How many of you who've not contributed want to contribute to WordPress? This is for just the people who've not contributed. Okay, good. So that is excellent. With that note, let's kick off the session. What are we doing here today? We're going to explain a project that we worked on. We worked on a contributor dashboard project last year and the year before. And here are some of the things that we're going to talk about today. We're going to cover the topic of the dashboard that we built, the vision. We are going to explore the tool that we used to build the dashboard. We're going to give you a walkthrough of what we did. We're going to share some of the insights that we learned from the dashboard. So, of course, we have the dashboard. What did we learn from it? What are the contents that are there in the dashboard? We are going to walk you through that. And finally, we'll wrap up with the road ahead. Where does this project lead to? Where are we going? So let's kick off by taking a look into the wonderful, wonderful world of dashboards. So how did all of this kick off? To give you some context, I used to be a full-time WordPress contributor. I technically still am, but I've sort of paused my contributions. I worked on a program called Five for the Future. Five for the Future is the official WordPress contribution program where organizations pledge up to 5% of their contributions. And I also used to work on the official WordPress contributor mentorship program. So while working on these programs, we all realized that there is a need for more transparency. So when organizations pledge to WordPress, they need more transparency. And when contributors contribute, they are not getting the information that they need. So that was very clear to me. And I heard this feedback from talking to so many contributors. So with that in mind, what if every single WordPress contributor could see the impact of their contributions at a glance? I mean, contributors, both sponsored and non-sponsored, they do a lot for the project. So WordPress, as you all know, is an open source project. It relies on hundreds of thousands of contributors all over the world. I would say that there's around 100,000 plus contributors till now. So what if every single one of the 100,000 historic WordPress contributors could see the impact of their contributions at a glance? What if every single contributor here, they knew exactly where help is needed? So WordPress is a big project. We power 43% of the internet. There are so many areas in this project that need help. But the challenge is, even for experienced contributors, even I've been contributing since 2016. Even I don't fully know where help is needed. Trust me, I've been working on this project. I still do not know. If you ask me now, I do not know where help is needed. What if there is a page which shows which are the areas, which are the projects, which are the specific things where we need help? That would be so cool, right? And finally, I mentioned Five for the Future. Five for the Future currently has over 200 companies that have pledged their time to contribute to WordPress. So these companies, they are dedicating their time. I mean, they create products, they create revenues, but they are dedicating a portion of their time to open source. So that time is extremely valuable. It is sometimes worth millions, or in some cases even billions of dollars, right? So these companies, they need to know how much impact that they're making on WordPress. It's not like they cannot see it now, but what if they could clearly see it? And this is where the world of dashboards come in. And I'm going to invite my friend Isota to talk more about it.
Thank you, Harry. Thanks a lot. So as Harry was mentioning, we were very, very much involved in this project last year because of the dream of getting a clear way for everyone involved in the project to see at first where to start from, check the status, the tracking, the progress that we were making, and also at the end also have a way to see the the wider impact that we were achieving as individuals and contribution teams. So the idea from there was, okay, let's find a way to centralize in one place and have people visualize what they need without having to go around and around, as we always have been doing, I believe. So here comes the idea of dashboards. Find one place to centralize the information and help contributions and companies navigating more easily the world of contributions. So we start giving more thought to it, and we kind of identified main challenges and benefits for individual contributors and contribution teams and Fight for the Future companies. So I believe that most of us have been in a situation where we wanted to start to contribute to a specific team, maybe a new team for us, and we felt overwhelmed or lost, completely lost at the beginning, because maybe the new team was using completely different tools than the team that we were used to, or it wasn't clear the status of a project, and in some cases, at least I've done it, in some cases I just dropped it because it was like too much and I didn't feel comfortable asking for help or digging more into it. So the first problem that we wanted to address was accessibility to contribution. Make it easier for everyone. For contribution teams and contributors, we really wanted to find a way to provide an easy way to streamline the work organization. So usually teams have multiple projects going on at the same time, and so how we can divide the task amongst the contributors. How can we see as new contributors what we can better help with, and how, in the case it's needed, how can we also transfer tasks from one working group to another. For Fight for the Future companies, instead, in addition to for this to be an easier way to onboard, because I don't know if anybody in the audience have experimented it, but working with the Fight for the Future organizations, Ari and I realized that at the beginning, companies want to support the project. They want to sponsor contributors to help with the overall projects, but if they don't have anybody to guide them, they can be stuck. So what are the projects that that align the most with the company's values? What are the projects or the tasks that contributors can relate more on? So, okay, here it is. We can start with this. And ultimately, having an easier way to get companies' interest and keep them, it also ensures a stronger way for their commitment to the WordPress project. Now I'll pass it on to Ari again to talk a little bit more in details of what we've been doing.
Thank you, Isota. So, as Isota mentioned, there are so many challenges, and the best way to solve this, we think, is dashboards. And what does dashboards mean? And where can dashboards help? So, first of all, let's explore what a dashboard is. So, dashboard, it's a very general term, but as we envision it, it could be a page, it could be a centralized page, it could be something that every Make WordPress team, so you all may know what make teams are, right? So every Make team, or for the entire project, there is a page or there's a section which shows very clear visual elements that showcase the progress of various parts in the WordPress project. So how many PRs are there in WordPress core? Or how many translations happened? What is the number of translations that happened in Spanish language? So imagine having all of this information in one page. So that is the goal, that is the end goal that we have. How can these dashboards help? In so many ways. So the first thing, as I mentioned, is having a place, having all this data in a central place. That goes a long way. It helps to see everything in one place, and it makes life easier for every single contributor, and not just contributor, anybody who's interested in WordPress, who wants to see where the progress of the project lies. Having a dashboard immensely helps. And the other thing is real-time tracking. So I am a contributor. I've done all sorts of contributions. I've done events. I've done translations. I've helped out with big projects. But sometimes when I translate, I'm a GT of a language called Malayalam. Sometimes when I translate, I am not able to see like what is the number of strings that I've done. I mean, it helps to see that right in one place. So a dashboard could have real-time tracking, and in my dashboard, if there's a dashboard, I could take a personal profile which shows what is the number of translations that I've made, what happened, what is happening with each project at the same time. Maybe a bulk of contributors are working on a particular project. How much progress has that project made? So real-time tracking goes a long way. Personalized stats, again, the example that I mentioned before. If we could provide every single contributor detailed personalized stats embedded to their WordPress profiles, how cool would that be? I mean, imagine if you're a contributor, you take your profile, you see detailed charts and graphs about your contribution. You started in 2016 or 2017 or even 2023, and this is the number of patches that you've made, this is the number of comments that you've made. How cool would it be to see all of these things in one space? And organization reports, this is important. So if you're familiar with Five for the Future, currently if you look at a company's profile in Five for the Future, it just shows the company's contributors, the teams they're contributing to, that's it. But what if, when you open a company's Five for the Future profile, it shows the contributions the company's employees have made. You know, that is going to help that company immensely because they can see the impact of the contributions that they're making. And it is going to inspire companies to contribute. Currently, it only lists the hours. But are the companies actually contributing to the hours that they've pledged to? For example, like I could right now go ahead and pledge 20 hours for a XYZ company that I'm making and make no contributions. And it would still show up in the profile. But when those hours are backed by actual data with visualizations, how cool and how powerful would that be? Now, the benefits actually extend. There's so many benefits that these contributions have. For the community, you get so much more visibility into contributions. So like as a community, as a WordPress community, when there are contributions, when there's a dashboard, you get to see into more detail what the number of contributions are, what is the impact that's happening. And I personally believe that having more data provides clarity and it improves motivation. So in my case, like I've actually tried doing this a bit. So when my contributions are visualized, like it really shows the impact of the contributions that I'm making. I mean, I may have done so much work, but when it's not visible, it doesn't really motivate me. But when it is visible, it motivates me personally to contribute more. And when all this contribution is available in data in a very clear visual form, it helps collaboration significantly. In so many ways. For example, in WordPress, we are seeing so much cross-team collaboration, especially around releases. So if you look at the latest release that just came out last year, 6.7, WordPress 6.7, we had polyglots, we had documentation, we had test, we had core, we have multiple teams collaborating. So these teams can only collaborate when there is a clear view of the need of each team, right? So when that need is made visible in a data-driven way, it really helps folks. And for make teams, it helps immensely. When all the data is out there, you can make data-driven decisions. So sometimes teams make decisions arbitrary about, for instance, like when they're shipping a new feature, they cannot really track the number of bugs. I mean, of course they can, but it could be a very manual process. But when there is a dashboard which really shows, here are the number of issues in this, and what is the resolution rate in this component or in this GitHub issue, in this GitHub repository. So like things like that go a long way. And as I've been mentioning about the benefits of the Five for the Future organization, so I'm not going to repeat it, but but just to share a very small point, when for Five for the Future companies, they are actually spending the revenue they're making back into contributions. So it is an investment. I personally believe that every single contribution is not charity, it is an investment, even for individual contributors. I honestly very strictly believe in that because like when we are giving back to WordPress, but it is an investment. You're investing into your own future. So when a company makes an investment into WordPress, they want to see return. And what is the return? It is the impact of the contribution that they're having. So when we have a dashboard, it clearly shows the impact. And even though the point is for organizations on identifying high impact areas, I think it applies to individuals also. So there are many contribution areas which could have relatively low effort and high impact. So having dashboards, it really brings out those areas forward. So there is a principle called the Pareto principle. It's called the 20-80 rule, which means 20% of effort leads to 80% of impact. So in WordPress, and as with almost any other project, such things are extremely valuable. So having dashboards help us identify the 20% that will move the 80%, and it will be immensely helpful. We will see growth manifold in WordPress having a dashboard like this. I also want to share some history about our project. So, this is what we've built actually. This post is from September 12, 2024. This is essentially the project. We will be sharing a link to it in the final slide. So you know what? We eventually built the dashboard. It's a very manual dashboard, and I want to very quickly share some history as to how we did it. So this all started in WordCamp Europe 2023 at Athens. So in the Q&A, our CEO, Matt, not the CEO of Automatic, but the co-founder of WordPress, Matt, he emphasized the need for project health dashboards. That really came up. So folks are very much inspired by it. There was a post in the Meta blog about it, and multiple individuals, Courtney Robertson, Naoko Takano, Isota, myself. So we all sort of formed like an informal working group, and a bunch of other contributors also joined in. We published a post exploring what could dashboards look like, how like a first exploration. In the first year in 2023, we did not have a lot of movement, but around January 2024, Naoko, the very enterprising Naoko Takano, who you might know as in fact, the first global lead of WordCamp Asia 2023, she explored and found a tool called Bitergia. Bitergia, we'll explore more into it. Isota is going to talk about that in a bit. We used the tool to set up some visualizations. We got some data. But the challenge is that it's a very expensive tool. The cost is around 1,000 euros per month. But we still generously funded that tool, and we used that tool to start looking at some information. So together then a more formal working group was set up by Courtney Robertson later, and in May 2024 there were a lot of project health discussions that were held, and so much ideas were collected. So the main aspects that we focused on was what should we measure, what are the metrics or what are the key process indicators that we should measure in dashboards. And finally, the challenge we realized was that the Bitergia dashboard that was created, it is private. In the shape that we have it today, it needs a lot more customization, a lot more work to be made public. But what we decided to do in the interim is, we decided to collect all the data from this dashboard and publish this in a set of blog posts. So we have, as you can see in this post, 4 sections. We have a core team dashboard, we have a community team dashboard, we have a training team dashboard, and 6.6 statistics. So this was published in September 2024. Back then, WordPress 6.6 was the latest released. So we collected all this information. We have separate pages for all these dashboards. We published this. So this was the first version of the project. We shared this as an experiment and we put it out for feedback. So this is what we have today. And I'm going to hand it over to Isota to walk you through Bitergia. So as I mentioned, Bitergia is a tool that we have. Isota is going to walk you through it. So it's an excellent tool, and take a look at what she has to show.
As Ari was anticipating, we started experimenting with this tool, which we loved. And by the way, we're not affiliated to this tool, but we explored it, and we thought it was a great first step. Because as you will see later in the blog post, what we got from now are static dashboards. Our goal is to make sure that we can have interactive tools that we can use. And so the first step was to explore the option that this Bitergia could offer. Bitergia is a dashboard tool created to support open source communities and projects. And it has the ability to pull data from a variety of sources. For this test, we only activated it to pull information from GitHub. So this is why our exploration was limited to specific teams. And we identified benefits, advantages, and also challenges. One of the challenges that I mentioned is the price. It's not a free tool, and as many, for each new source that we want to add, the price is going to increase. This is also one of the reasons why we kept the experimentation limited to one source. One of the best features that this tool provides is the ability to connect the contributors with the company they work for or that sponsor them, or if they are self-sponsored contribution. So this is also can give an idea of the percentage from where a specific project is getting the support. It also gives the possibility to update the organization you're affiliated with, so there is almost endless opportunities to have information about your own contributions, your company contribution, and the project overall. One of the limitations is that, for example, in the case of company affiliation, there is a lot of manual work to do. So we have a right side and a hard side and challenge to overcome. We thought that the best way to explain you what we've tried to do, what are the potentials, the limits, and also hopefully help you kick off these thoughts in your hand and then come back to us and keep discussing on what we want to achieve, was to show you. I prepared a very quick tour of the tool, and it's going to be just 2 minutes, and so I hope that you can have a better idea of this. Which one should be? Sorry. Oh. Sorry, we need a little bit of help to play.
We have a video. I'm going to try hope to get the systems team to play it.
Yeah. Sorry, in the thank you. In the rehearsal, it worked, but as always happened. Okay, so this is the main dashboard that where you open the tool, and so you can see there are different views. You can create custom views. You can use thousands of filters. You can maximize panels. You can download information from them, and you can customize the view as you need. So this is what we were working on. You can decide what information you want to highlight in the overview. And as you probably noticed earlier, there was a specific Courtney overview that she used to experiment. You can filter by date range. You can go up to 10 years ago, and you can create custom ranges for any type of data you want to see. And you can eventually also save it and keep a link for the future. There are different panels that you can explore. In this case, it's all about GitHub and Git contributions, as we mentioned, but you can create whatever you need, including custom filters and save labels. So at any time you need to visualize just a specific filter information, you have it handy. And you have different options to modify your query and to share it with others. Of course, you can easily change anything related to filters, and including creating these custom filters that you can share with the other people in the project or your employer, anybody who needs to check it with the link. Whenever you don't need them anymore, you can just delete them. So this is at glance how it could be. It doesn't have to be this way. This is in here. There is a lot of information, but imagine having the possibility to use a similar tool. You can create whatever you need to. So I'll hand it back to Ari again.
Thank you, Sota. So what you literally saw was the tip of the iceberg. This tool is amazing. There's so many insights. The only limitation now is it only looks at the entire WordPress GitHub organization. So WordPress has a GitHub organization, github.com/WordPress, which has, I think around more than 100 repositories actually. So it covers all of it, but that's it. It does not look at track. So as you all know, WordPress development takes place through SVN, and we have a bug tracking tool called Track. It does not, Bittergear can connect to Slack, but we've not used Slack yet. But it still has so much features which we can explore. Now, I'm going to quickly go through the insights that we learned through the process. So the first thing is, So as I shared earlier, we had the WordPress 6.6 dashboard. This is one of the biggest insights that we learned from looking at WordPress 6.6. Now, to note, we did not use Bitergia for this. We have the props list. We use the props list to do some data analysis. That's where we used to get this information. So as you can see, 26 so of all the contributors in WordPress 6.6, only 26.5% are sponsored. That is, they are a part of the time somebody is paying for them. They are doing contributions in their work time. 73.5% of all WordPress contributions are done by volunteers. I mean, 100% volunteers. Now, if you look at countries, 84 contributors come from the United States and 69 from India, 23 from Bangladesh, 13 from Japan, and as you can see, Asia, I mean, we are at WordCamp Asia here, so a majority of WordPress contributions are actually coming from Asia. So big kudos to all Asians here. Big kudos to WordCamp Asia. Asian contributors have done fantastic job with all WordPress releases in last year, which is 6.5, 6.6, 6.7. But yeah, this clearly shows how Asia has made a big presence in WordPress contributions. This is a list of the companies. I mean, some of these bubbles are small because, but there are so many companies out there which contribute. There are some small companies. So this small company called Loose Inc. It is one contributor. He's from Japan. His name is Aki Hamano. So there is just one person with 274 contributions. But yeah, there are so many companies who sponsor their contributors to make contributions, and big kudos to all of them for doing all they can to support WordPress. Now, this is a very interesting chart which we picked up from Bitergia. In fact, I collected more data for this presentation. So all the charts that you see were from our original post. This is different because we pulled this data for until 2025. So like the data that you're seeing is as of January 2025. So this is the number of attracted developers and contributors getting inactive. So as you can see, this chart is fairly good. So it shows that the WordPress project is healthy. We've always been getting new contributors. So the blue line is new contributors coming in, whereas the red line is contributors leaving. But as you can see, this chart towards the end there's a spike. There's more contributors leaving and less contributors coming in, which is probably because of Automatic pausing its contributions, because Automatic was a big contributor. So that is connected to the spike in January. But other than that, WordPress has been very healthy. We've always had more people coming in, and almost the same amount of people coming in and leaving, which is a sign of a very healthy open source project. And this is a community structure diagram that we've pulled from Bitergia. So there are three types of contributors. There's casual, there's regular, there's core. Casual contributors are contributors who make very small contributions and just leave. Core are the very active folks. So these people, they are there. They are making the most active contributions, and regular folks are people who make some contributions, who are there, but who make occasional contributions, but they're not. They're there. They're making contributions. They contribute about 40% of the contributions, whereas the core people, they contribute around 80% of the contributions. So again, this shows a very healthy set of contributions. We have an even distribution between new people coming in and regular contributors and casual contributors. So there's a lot of open source literature on how a healthy open source project should be. So if any open source historian looks at this chart, it shows that WordPress is a very, very healthy open source project. And we have this final slide that I want to quickly walk you through. So it shows the growth of contributors over time. So again, this chart is actually until September 2024 when we did the project. I'm taking this directly from the project. Yeah, so it shows that our contributor growth has been very nice. Like you can see spikes. Like so around 2018, that is when Gutenberg started coming in. So you can see the spike alongside Gutenberg. We've had a very active list of contributors being active, and like the numbers are always good. So you see spikes around COVID. So this spike around 2021, and that's very much connected to COVID, and the spike around 2019, that's also very much connected to COVID. So in short, all these numbers, the analysis that we have, the insight that we have, if I were to summarize in one sentence, it is that WordPress is a very, very healthy open source project. We have a very good distribution of active and inactive contributors.
As I was mentioned at the beginning, we were not alone in this dream. So we really wanted to use also this opportunity to shout out the other people who mainly helped with make this idea becoming a beginning of a project. And so we want to thank Courtney Robinson and Naoko Takano for being such a massive help. Naoko was the first one finding a tool who could be a good fit for a first exploration. She explored it first and then taught us all how to use it and how to make the best out of it. And then Courtney was pivotal into bringing this beginning of idea to the broader community. She organized brainstorming sessions. She was pivotal in helping us reaching everyone in the project. So thanks to them, we were able to work on this and come here and share it with you all. And hopefully, moving forward with more of you in the upcoming months.
Yes. So, the road ahead. I want to share well, how do I share it? Well, this project that we've done, it was done as an experiment. So, what we essentially did was we used Bitergia, we manually collected data, we published it. We've honestly not done any work on it ever since, because a lot of things have changed. Isota and I, and Courtney and Naoko, we are not working on this project right now. So in short, we published this, we got some feedback, and the hope was to use that feedback to continue building forward. But we've not done work on it after this. Which still brings the question, what lies ahead? Ideally, yes, we have a lot of hopes and plans. The ideal goal towards this, as I shared earlier, would be to build an automated dashboard. So the idea that we already have Bitergia. It's slightly expensive to maintain. Automatic is paying for it, but probably we could use help there. And it only measures GitHub. What if we could bring it to track? And what if we could open it up? So in short, the ideal goal would be to build a fully automated dashboard. Completely automated, no manual intervention needed, no manual publishing of data like what we did in the Make Project blog needed. That is the goal. And how cool would it be to have it integrated into WordPress profiles? So that is where it is headed. But currently we are not working on it right now. But yes, the eventual hope is that once we have a dashboard like this, it could go a long way in, as we shared earlier, in improving WordPress as such. So having a data-driven approach, having more data out there, having it out in public, having very clear insights on the various aspects of WordPress, WordPress contribution, WordPress development. Because this is the world's biggest open source, I wouldn't call WordPress the world's biggest open source project, but at least the world's biggest content management system. So this is the world's biggest content management system, and it's a huge open source project. We could all use the insights. So to wrap things up, I want to ask you all a question. And how should the WordPress contributor dashboard look like? What do you think? I mean, we shared a demo. What we have is a demo, which we did. As I said, we are not working on it right now, but this is an important project. We still believe it's an important project, and it needs a lot of work. It needs contributors. It needs ideas. So, and that's why we decided to do this stuff. We wanted to share about our work with you, and we wanted to get your feedback. What should the WordPress contributor dashboard be, and how should the WordPress contributor dashboard of the future look like? So let us know in the comments. This QR code links directly to the Make WordPress blog post that we published. Isota, do you want to share something?
Yeah, I would love to add, if any of you is interested in the project, want to jump on it, there's no need to wait for Hari, myself, Courtney, or anybody else to pick it up again. Just please feel free to ping us and tell us, hey, I want to work on this, I want to bring it forward, I have ideas, I have maybe other people who want to help. So you ping us, we give you all the additional context, information that you may need, and we still completely believe in this, and we can't wait for also us to come back and help make this happen. So now you've seen what we've done inside, limitations. Please, any idea is more than welcome. Drop a comment in that post, and let's try to make it happen together. Yes. Thank you all so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask us, and we would love contributions from you. Again, I mean, building a dashboard seems very technical. Trust me, it doesn't need to be that way, because Isota and I, we are not developers. If we could do this, anyone could do this. And even if you do not have the bandwidth to do it, you could probably even share ideas. We need ideas. Like, I'll give you some questions to think about if you want.